What makes someone run? What makes someone hide? What makes a whole country stop what it's doing to look for them? These are questions as old as time itself, like a deep river that flows through our shared history. They are questions about right and wrong, about safety, and about the idea that in the end, we all have to face the music. Imagine a giant game of hide and seek, not in a backyard, vast deserts, busy city streets, invisible pathways of the internet. The stakes are much higher, and the whole world is watching, holding its breath. Some of the biggest manhunts in American history begin the journey into the wildest searches for those who tried to disappear. Long ago, before there were highways and cell phones, America was a much bigger, wilder place. Imagine vast, open plains with very few towns and even fewer police officers. Outlaws were like legends whispered around a campfire. Jesse James, Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid. They could rob a train or rob a bank and then simply disappear into the wilderness. They were like ghosts. Lawmen had to rely on their wits, tracking skills, and their horses. They would put up wanted posters in post offices and saloons, offering a reward for information. Sometimes a farmer might give a fleeing outlaw a place to sleep or a meal, out of sympathy or fear. The first big challenge in manhunts: distance and communication. It would eventually lead to a national police force, people who could connect the dots across state lines. Lawmen learned to work as one big team instead of many small, separate ones. Now, let's motor forward a bit in time to the 1930s. Horses were being replaced by cars. Dusty roads began to stitch the country together. Meet Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. They were robbing small-town banks and speeding off in stolen Ford V8s. A new kind of outlaw tale, built for the automobile. Newspapers printed their stories. Suddenly, everyone knew their faces. They seemed like movie stars on a wild adventure. People hurting during the Depression were fascinated, but their reality was fear, sleeping in cars and always looking over their shoulders. This became one of the first modern manhunts. Cruising state lines made local police powerless. Enter the FBI, able to cross state lines. Led by Texas Ranger Frank Hamer, lawmen set a trap on a quiet country road. The end of one era and the start of another. Right around the same time that Bonnie and Clyde were making headlines, another man became infamous. His name was John Dillinger. If Bonnie and Clyde were a celebrity couple, Dillinger was its biggest star. He was clever, he was bold, he had a talent for escaping. He broke out of jail not once but twice. Stories say he carved a fake gun from wood or soap and painted it to fool guards. Whether true or not, the tales added to his legend. He was a ghost, always one step ahead. J. Edgar Hoover declared him public enemy number 1. It became personal for the FBI. The Bureau used new techniques, roadblocks, wiretaps, and informants, to hunt him down. An informant, later called the Lady in Red, told the FBI where he would be. The end came outside the Biograph Theater. The capture of public enemy number 1 sent a message: no matter how famous or clever, you can't run forever. After the wild days of the 1930s, law enforcement needed a better way to get the public's help. So in 1950, the FBI created a simple, brilliant idea: the 10 most wanted fugitives list. They sent it to newspapers, radio stations, and later television, asking every citizen to be a lookout. A neighbor, a coworker, or a landlord might recognize them, turning the entire country into a network of detectives. The list reflected changes in crime: bank robbers, spies, terrorists, mob leaders, and more. It was a national neighborhood watch. A simple idea, but one of the most effective tools in manhunts. When everyone works together, it becomes much, much harder for anyone to hide from justice. Let's jump forward to a modern and very different kind of manhunt. This one didn't involve fast cars. It involved homemade bombs sent through the mail. From 1978 to 1996, a mysterious person known as the Unabomber terrified the country. He targeted universities and airlines and left almost no physical clues. His bombs were cleverly made to be untraceable. For years, the FBI had almost nothing to go on. No fingerprints, no witnesses. The main clue came from the bomber's own words, a 35,000-word manifesto. After debate, the Washington Post and the New York Times published it, hoping someone would recognize the voice. David Kaczynski read it and felt dread. It sounded like his brother Ted. Agents watched his remote cabin, entered, and found Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. Inside, they found a completed bomb and journals describing his crimes. This manhunt showed clues can come from unexpected places, not just crime scenes, but a person's ideas. Imagine being afraid to pump gas or let your child walk to school. In fall 2002, that was real for millions around Washington, D.C. For 3 terrifying weeks, a sniper seemed to shoot people at random. The only clue? Some witnesses reported a white van. Law enforcement worked under immense pressure to protect millions while hunting a ghost. Investigators found a fingerprint on a magazine left at a scene, a tiny clue that mattered. It led to Lee Boyd Malvo and connected him to John Allen Muhammad. A truck driver spotted their car at a rest stop and called police. The manhunt was over. The case showed how instant communication and shared info are vital. Even a tiny clue from far away can unlock the whole mystery. On April 15, 2013, Boston celebrated Patriots' Day. In a moment, celebration turned to chaos and horror. 2 bombs exploded near the finish line. Investigators turned to technology. The city became a giant crime scene. They asked the crowd for photos and videos. They received thousands of digital files and combed them frame by frame. After 2 days, videos showed 2 young men with backpacks, walking toward the finish line. The FBI released images. Within hours, their faces were everywhere. TV, internet, smartphones. A police chase and shootout followed. 1 suspect was killed, 1 fled and hid. The governor ordered shelter in place across the region. The city fell silent. He was found hiding in a backyard boat. This manhunt showed the power of cameras, the internet, and citizens working in real time. After our long journey through time, dusty roads, and digital highways, what have we learned? America changed. People who break its rules changed. And the ways we find them changed. First, teamwork matters. Law enforcement and the public together. Second, technology helps. And tiny clues can unlock big mysteries. Third, behind every manhunt are real people, victims and families who feel the pain. These events led to new laws, new technologies, and new ways to protect our communities. In the end, manhunts are about restoring balance and safety. These tales from history aren't just stories, they are lessons for the future. Each manhunt is a stepping stone that made us smarter, safer, and more connected. What would you do if you saw a piece of the puzzle? Would you make the call? Think about it, and share what you learned in the comments. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe. See sources in the description.